It's about that time of the year when Brentford fans forget the trials and tribulations of last season, get out the rose-tinted glasses or moaning pills, whatever takes their fancy at the time, and make their predictions on how the Bees will fare in their forthcoming championship campaign. Liberal Nick at Nick Carthew, where do you stand? Sit? Ealing Road right side front, and hoping to move back on the terrace to admire Romaine's through balls even better. Last season's highs visiting the Stadium of Light to watch my favorite, and second favorite, teams play. Great away weekend. Sunderland has got some decent pubs. It's just a shame another overseas owner has ruined a once great football team and that we may not return to Wearside anytime soon. Last season's lows, people still not understanding Brentford's business model, and sadly there was some creeping in of racist and homophobic chanting at home games. Those responsible for it can F*** off. What are your thoughts for this season? Ian Holloway makes a decent point, for once, on his interview on the Beesotted podcast. Despite what I say about people needing to understand our business model, it's about time we hung on to one or two of our really decent players. Movements in and out so far this summer, and in the last transfer window have been fine, but I would like it to stop now. Keep the current squad together and anything could happen. Best moment of last season, hearing the cheers from the away end after Mopé's 94th minute equalizer as I left Craven Cottage early to catch a train. The noise was made even better because as I ran through Bishop's Park, I passed a man telling his son that it was never in doubt Fulham were going to beat Brentford. Worst moment of last season, leaving the Fulham game on the 90th minute to catch a train. You all know what happened next. Funniest moment of last season, following via Beesotted tweets and WhatsApp messages, the 5 goals going in v Birmingham at home, a game one couldn't make. I know, loyal, I had the Monkeys' Daydream Believer on shuffle on Spotify the next day. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? Living in Devon, all home games are aways, so it's good to sample a bit of London pride every fortnight. Bristol City is always fun, as is any visit to the northeast. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy, awarded to the team that does far better than the pundits predict? Genuinely don't know. This year there really doesn't seem to be a team that stands out head and shoulders over everyone else. Maybe Blackburn Rovers might surprise. Tony Mowbray is a decent manager. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? Villa's new owners seem to think all you need to win the league is a star manager, with Thierry Henry now at the helm and supposedly leading them to the Premier League. And I reckon West Brom could go straight through the Championship into Div 1. They seem to have no plan. Will probably throw silly money at buying players in a panic come the January transfer window. Hopefully players, you know who you are, will resist the urge to go. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? We have a cup run, league or FA Cup, I don't care. Tom McKitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season and why? It Could Only Be the Only Way is up by Yaz. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? In my dreams I look forward to discussing transfer values after knowing the exact fee paid, and not have to speculate or make informed guesses because the club tells us it's an undisclosed fee. In reality it will be enduring, the bullying behavior of Billy the Bee as he tries to demolish my excellent theories. What position will Brentford finish? 11th, because a good cup run will interfere with our league form. Nick Bruzin at Nick Bruzin, where do you stand? Sit Bramer Road paddock. Last season's highs, the emergence of Chris Metham Romaine taking his game to the next level, humping Aston Villa, 7 goals, 6 points and 2 clean sheets against Birmingham. Fulham away, Mopé in the last minute was just stunning. Utter mayhem. What a feeling. Take that, Ian Moose. Last season's lows, I can't deny the triple transfer to Birmingham City wasn't a punch to the gut at the time. Not so much the sales but more the manner of how it happened. 1, 2, 3 players all to the same club at the 11th hour. Call me naive, but I somehow thought Hoda may stay put and help the promotion push. Oh well, his loss. Dean's post-match interviews could have done with some work, too. If leagues were won on, deserving to W in games, we'd have been champions before Easter. Peter Gillam's prostate cancer news. What are your thoughts for this season? Top 6. Absolutely nailed on. You can quote me on that. Dean's team are ready to take that next step. Best moment of last season. Cheer up Harley Dean. What a night. What a finish to the game. What a way to ram those words back down his throat. 10 times better at getting stuffed. Worst moment of last season. Time being called on Rasmus. September 2015 Fans Forum prediction. It is not an option to not be in the Premier League. It has to happen in the next 3 years. At the moment there is no plan B. We'd be in the Premier League in 3 years. Sad, because I'd have loved it to happen for no more reason than he'd have been able to take some kudos. Whether justified or not, he's very much come in for a lot of stick over the years. Imagine being able to turn around and say, I did tell you. Funniest moment of last season. We've got quality in that squad. I've been in teams where we've finished 5th in this league and missed out on promotion by playoffs. And this squad is 10 times better than that. It's just about getting the balance right. Harley Dean. Yeah, he actually said that. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? Stoke City. Our magnificent brown and orange away shirt makes her league debut. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy? Awarded to the team that is far better than the pundits predict. Brentford, obviously. Season 5 in the championship approaches and we are still being ignored. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? Nottingham Forest. Proper club with a great history. They've spent big, very big. That's only going to end in tears. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? I'm very happy at present and don't think we need genies. If really pushed, I suppose a regular goal scorer would be nice. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season and why? In the Shadows by the Rasmus. It's where we lurk, unseen and unnoticed. Pretty sure there's some other connection, but it'll take a better man than me to find it. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? Birmingham City's relegation struggle. Brentford actually getting through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. What position will Brentford finish? 4th. We'll have a wobble at some point, but I think that if the squad can stay together past Christmas, we've got every opportunity to really go for it. Savvy at SAV. Kiriako, where do you stand? Sit. Ealing Road. Last season's highs. Romaine Sawyers. I've always liked him, but he became absolute class by the end of the season. Those skills when he seemed to play a 1-2 with himself then split the opposition defense was the best bit of football I've seen at Griffin Park. Matching Hoda's destruction of Bidwell. Last season's lows. QPR's comeback. What are your thoughts for this season? 1 year's more experience in a young squad. If Kansa, Sorensen are adequate replacements for Egan, Bjelland and Benrahma, Ogbene can cover the loss of Joseph Zune, then we can do better than last season. Of course we can still be weakened before the window slams shut. Best moment of last season. Mape in the last minute. Worst moment of last season. 2 days after QPR's comeback, I had to spend an evening with a QPR fan who was at the game, one of the few that stayed to the end. Even after telling him we would finish above them again, that all they did was draw it home, and I felt sorry for him having to watch a Rory Delap tribute act. Trademark Lord Lucan. Week in, week out he was still being smug. Funniest moment of last season. Daydream believer at halftime and full-time of the Birmingham City thrashing. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? Nottingham Forest. It's on a Saturday and always a good day out. Also, an opportunity to catch up with a friend who lives up there. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy? Awarded to the team that is far better than the pundits predict. A lot of pundits look at crowd size, tradition and money spent and decide the big teams will fill up the top spots. Therefore it's the Bees again. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? I think the pundits might have given up on thinking Reading are any good. They will look at the cash splashed by Forest and go for them, but I reckon they are not right behind the scenes. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? Saviors and would stay beyond the window and remain fit. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season and why? Popcorn by Hot Butter, a 70s classic pop song. Great lyrics and an easy-to-remember tune. Ideal for turning into a memorable football song. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? How much is X worth when we sell him to some club with parachute payments in January? What position will Brentford finish? 5th. Martin the Dutchman, at Brentford. Where do you stand? Sit right side, Ealing Road. Last season's highs, Birmingham home. What an atmosphere, proving everyone wrong again after our start. Mepham's rise, turning down £10 million plus offers last season's low as the first 8 games where we couldn't buy a win despite the quality of performance, effectively writing off our chances. What are your thoughts for this season? More of the same. Quality football. New signings gelling, Cano's coming good. Best moment of last season, Liberal Nick leaving after 90 minutes at Fulham, a full 4 minutes before Moaning in the 94th minute. Worst moment of last season, QPR comeback at Loftus Road. Funniest moment of last season, Daydream Believer being sung with the words rejigged for Harley Dean. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? Nottingham Forest, still never been, only ground in the league I haven't done. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy? Awarded to the team that is far better than the pundits predict. Brentford and Birmingham. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? Stoke. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? Get promoted and have the last 4 months at Griffin Park in the Premiership. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season and why? Dino, to the tune, Chorus of Gino by Dexy's Midnight Runners. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? QPR's transfer embargo catching them out. International call-ups for Bees. What position will Brentford finish? 3rd. Ali Muley, at Ali Muley, where do you stand? Sit finally persuaded the He family to abandon New Road for Ealing Road. Hurrah! Last season's highs, Moaning in the last minute at Fulham, and we got to keep the song. Birmingham. H. Norwich. A. Last season's lows, QPR comeback. I still clearly remember saying, just a consolation, they don't have time to get an equalizer, seconds before Woodsy forgot to just keep the bloody ball. The first 10 games. Freely admit to panicking. Selling half our team to Birmingham. What are your thoughts for this season? Ask me after August 9. If we hold on to our key players, Woods, Saviors, we should be right up there. Best moment of last season, Birmingham at home, players, fans, club all as one that night. Worst moment of last season, QPR's equalizer. Funniest moment of last season, cheer up Harley Dean, Daydream Believer by the Monkeys on the tannoy after spanking Birmingham 5-0. DJ that night deserved an award. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? West Brom. New ground, who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy? Awarded to the team that is far better than the pundits predict. Preston, consistently underrated. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? Villa. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? Moaning to knock in 20 goals. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season and why? Can You Feel the Force, by The Real Thing as Marcus Forsberry's a few off the bench. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? McEachran actually being outstanding for more than one game in 10, because When he's good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's horrid. Assuming we don't sell him, that is, what position will Brentford finish? After my completely over-optimistic prediction of last season, I'm going to be conservative. Fourth, Billy Grant, at BillItherB99, where do you stand? City Ealing Road. Last season's highs. Brentford actually turning down £10 million plus for a player. Compare that to the £500,000 we agreed for DJ Campbell, which railroaded our season back then after years of jiggery-pokery, finally getting our defensive conundrum sorted, with Bjelland and Metham proving to be an ideal pairing. As they say, it'll never last, giving that jab uppercut knockout blow to Birmingham City. Goals scored 7. Goals against 0, after they raided our coffers in August and laughed at us the football we were playing. There was a feeling we would never play exciting attacking football again after the Warburton era. This season just proved it's in our DNA and is ingrained right throughout the team. Last season's lows selling Hoda to Birmingham, only getting 1 point from a Derby team who were so poor at Griffin Park, they failed to even get the ball out their half in the 2-ND period of the game, QPR scoring 2 goals in extra time to tie the game at Loftus Road, going out of the FA Cup with a whimper. What are your thoughts for this season? Mbappe will have the experience to negotiate this division and will score ever more goals than last. I think we have a fab set of centre-backs, but I'm slightly nervous about the lack of experience. Last season we saw how valuable Bjelland was in the mix. People have now finally started to take us seriously, so we may find more teams coming down and parking the bus to stop us from doing our thing. We'll be a pain in the ass for most teams all season, but just miss out on a playoff spot once again. Best moment of last season, beating Birmingham 2-0 at their place not even 2 months after they had raided our player cupboard. That to me was better than the 5-0 home match, as it was so soon after they had taken our players, with Blues fans calling us our feeder club. We had so much fun on the terraces, letting them know that it did not affect us, whilst thanking them for the £12 million. Worst moment of last season, I'd say losing 3-1 at home to Cardiff. It was at that stage one realized we weren't quite good enough to go up. Funniest moment of last season, Mbappe in the 94th minute just eclipses. Cheer up Harley Dean, only because the look on the Fulham fans' faces, knowing that they then had to face the gamble of the playoffs. And it was us who did it. Okay, they came up trumps in the end. But ask any Fulham fan at the time if they would fancy playoffs, and the answer would have been no. What away day are you looking forward to most, and why? Borough. I always look forward to an away day in Borough. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy? Awarded to the team that does far better than the pundits predict. Everyone had plumped Rotherham for relegation. I think they may surprise a few. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? They spend €15 million on a player and suddenly everyone is backing Forest. We all know it takes a lot more than just spending money. It will be interesting to see if these players can acclimatize to the English game quickly. We know a lot about that. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? That we convert all the chances we create. If that were to happen, we'd be 15 points clear by Christmas. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season, and why? It's pretty cheesy, but we've got our Z-Kanza. So let's all do the conga. La 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 la. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? Birmingham have offered Hoda for sale for £1 million, plus his is prepared to return for massive pay cut. Do we move on? Or do we get him as a bench player? What position will Brentford finish? 8th, Matt Allard, at the Matt Allard. Where do you stand? Sit New Roader. Last season's highs. There are a couple of obvious games, but I will try and give you a feeling instead. It was the build-up in the week or so before Millwall away. It started to look like a push for the playoffs was on. And I was really looking forward to putting one over one of our playoff rivals. Last season's lows for me after that game. Yeah, the QPR 2 late goals was a killer and I felt sick immediately after that. But after the Millwall game, one knew in my heart the season was done. And then Barnsley away, which just confirmed what we already knew. What are your thoughts for this season? More of the same, to be honest. A sniff of the playoffs, and then it just depends if we take the opportunities that I expect to be offered to us. Last year we didn't. Best moment of last season, to pinpoint a moment, I would say the second goal we scored against QPR, although the late equalizer against Fulham is in there too. Worst moment of last season, QPR's second goal. Obviously funniest moment of last season, there is the obvious standout that I think most folks will put here, beating Birmingham 5-0 and the Daydream Believer sing-along. On a personal note, it was how many people got the name of the song, and in some cases the song itself, wrong in later posts on social media and in the pub. Funny, because I wasn't confident to call anyone out without checking it myself. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? Preston is on a bloody Tuesday, which is thoroughly annoying. So in lieu of that, I'll go for Forest on a Saturday. It's been midweek a couple of times recently. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy, awarded to the team that is far better than the pundits predict? I was going to say probably us. Millwall stole a bit of that thunder last year by finishing above us. They won't this year, but I see the pundits have us finishing between 6th and 8th, which is where I reckon we'll be. So of the teams coming up, maybe Blackburn. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? I would say Villa again, but even the pundits seem to be a bit over them this season. They're giving Forest some big shouts, aren't they? Karanka does know what he's doing though. I'll still go with them, I think, especially if Dawson is their go-to centre-back. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? I still worry about the hype throughout the team, so just to stretch a few of them out, please. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season and why? Oh dear. I'm terrible at this stuff. I love music, but I can't think I've ever come up with anything along these lines, and it's not for the want of trying. How about Olamore by Erasure and Soon After Dollar? Is that cheesy enough? Someone else will have to figure the lyrics out though. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? I went with this last year and I can't see any reason to change it. Dean Smith, when the team are sitting comfortably mid-table in October and people, liberal Nick, are calling for his sacking because they think we should be in the top 2. What position will Brentford finish? I'm thinking 6th, but it's always hard to say before the transfer window closes. Put me down for that though. Ed the Head Langdon, at head. Langdon, where do you stand? Ealing Road, last season's highs, another season of same old Brentford taking the P******. Last season's lows, transfer deadline day podcast. When Dean, Hoda and Colin went to Birmingham, what are your thoughts for this season? Could do with some more leadership, after losing Bjelland. However, the current crop have got a few seasons under the belt now and are no mugs. I saw a lot of lessons learned throughout last season and expect more this time around, which will reflect our final position. Bet moment of last season, Birmingham at home 5-0 and Harley Dean, Daydream Believer. Worst moment of last season, Barnsley away. Funniest moment of last season, the secret pub brewery at Burton away. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? Looking forward to West Brom away, as have a mate that way who have given it the big un about Brentford the past few years. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy, awarded to the team that does far better than the pundits predict? Norwich, what team will do far worse than the pundits predict? So, if we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? Woods to sign another 4-year deal. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season and why? I'm a Barbette girl. In a Barbette world, what topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? Ben Rahama whipping balls around and Mbappe scoring 15. What position will Brentford finish? 5th, Jim Lovick at Jimbly 1. Where do you stand? City Ealing Road. Last season's highs Mbappe in the last minute, and seeing my blue-nosed next-door neighbor behind glass in the VIP box just yards behind us at full-time at St. Andrews. I waved. The return fixture at Griffin Ork was quite good too. Last season's low is Wolves away, where the golf in class was very apparent. QPR away was a choker, and Derby away as I had to endure my Rams fan wife's smug silence when I got home. Ignorant fans slating Woods and Sockers also made my blood boil. What are your thoughts for this season? Very positive, as long as we keep or improve on Woods and Sockers. Still fear we need another option up top, but I have faith in the way the club is being run and remain astonished and delighted in equal measure that other championship fans can't see it. Best moment of last season? Easy. Mbappe at the Cottage. Worst moment of last season? Clappers at the Cottage. Funniest moment of last season would have to be in the Curry pub pre-Brum, when good friend and fellow Midland B Mike Ball declared that he loved Joseph Zoon because he's like shit off a blanket. Shovel. Surely, unless you're talking train spotting, what away day are you looking forward to most and why? Stoke. They usually start slow, so it would be good to get some payback for Cardiff and silence a few Stokey mates. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy? Awarded to the team that does far better than the pundits predict. Blackburn. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? Stoke, obviously. Never seen such a delusional bunch of fans. They'll be top 10 if they're lucky. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? Keep performing well. Find a 25-goal-a-season striker. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season, and why? Tears for Fears, Mad World, If and When Mad Betch Sorensen starts. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? I know it's been covered, but FFP and the lack of level playing field issue isn't going away anytime soon. What position will Brentford finish? Second, Greville Waterman at Grev Waterman. Where do you stand? Sit Bramer Road. Last season's highs being Kings of West London once again. Last season's lows so near but so far. Like Sisyphus, we got so close to the top of the hill before tumbling back down again. What are your thoughts for this season? Barring a last-minute squad decimation, we are in a good place to mount a serious playoff challenge. Best moment of last season? Mbappe in the 94th minute. Worst moment of last season? QPR in the 94th minute. Funniest moment of last season? Barbet's penalty and the policeman on Brook Road against Norwich. What away day are you looking forward to most and why? All of them, as I still do a double take at all the big-name teams we come up against. Who will win the Ian Holloway Trophy? Awarded to the team that does far better than the pundits predict. Brentford, or maybe Nottingham Forest of their plethora of new signings gel. What team will do far worse than the pundits predict? Leeds, Derby County. If we unearthed a genie that gave you one wish for Brentford this season, what would that be? Win the damn league. Atomic Kitten had the surprise hit of the World Cup. Their song, Whole Again, adapted to Football's Coming Home Again, was sung with gusto on the streets and terraces of Russia by England fans and their Russian chums. What cheesy pop record do you think Brentford should adopt this season, and why? Looking at the size of our squad and how small and frail so many of them appear to be, how about, hi-ho, it's off to work we go. What topic do you most look forward to discussing on the Pride of West London podcast this season? How clubs and media alike are finally waking up to the Brentford revolution and realizing just how good and innovative we really are. What position will Brentford finish? 5th, Robin Hood at Robin McMichael. Where do you stand? City Ealing Road. Last season's highs. Cheer up Harley Dean. QPR.